Good evening and welcome to Montgomery High School. My name is Brandy Hendricks and I am the principal. This is my first full year and we have had an amazing year and we are very excited for our 8th graders to come to us next year. All of our teachers are excited. That's the biggest group of teachers that we've had to come out and show off their programs. Your kids also got to come over and do the field trip where they went around and learned about all the different things that we offer. And so we're hoping that they have all the information they need to make some really good choices. And our counseling team is going to go through exactly how you go about registering. So we hope you've learned a lot tonight and we hope to get you out of here as quickly as possible because if you are like us, there's so many things going on, and so we would like to get you home at a decent hour. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dana Ellis. I'm the lead counselor here at Montgomery High School. And before I get started, I want to take a second just to introduce some of the people that we have here tonight. Obviously, we just heard from Ms. Hendricks, our wonderful principal. She's a phenomenal leader, and we're very blessed to be working under her. Stacy LeBrier is our college and career coordinator, our CT director, and works in the library, so she's multi-talented and full of great information. We also have Jennifer Griffin, which is one of our assistant principals, and Connie Mathis, one of our counselors, Melanie Tullis, a part of the counseling team, and Lorraine Thompson, also a part of our counseling team. We are here for you tonight, so we're here in purple. So after we're done, if you have questions, please come up and ask. That's what we're here for. All right, so let's get started. I'm hoping that you brought your folder from your 8th grade student because we had the opportunity to go and visit with them on Monday and kind of walk them through this process. And this PowerPoint very much mirrors that conversation that we had with your student, and we want to make sure that you understand exactly what they saw. So what was in that folder? They received instructions for completing the registration, a common course sheet, a draft course registration form, and an official registration form. One is blue and the official is white. An academic course guide, which is also white. An endorsement pathway sheet, which is a colored sheet. It has all the different colors on it, and Ms. LeBrier will be talking about that soon. And then if they decide to get in an advanced class, they picked up the contract for that in the cafeteria from the junior high counselors. The instruction sheet looks like this. It's kind of the green sheet there. And it really walks you through exactly what we're needing you to do to fill out the registration form. So in case you get home and you forget anything and everything that I said, you can refer back to this some. Also at the bottom it has the important dates, and the main one is to know that this is due tomorrow, December 13th. They're turning it into their health and team leadership teachers there at the junior high. The common 9th grade course sheet is the sheet that we refer to a great deal because it has the common courses for 9th grade. It has the name of the courses. In that first column, you'll see it also has the course number. And it also shows the credits that they get for that course. So 1 credit is a full year, half credit is a semester-long course. This is what that blue draft registration form looks like. And then this is the white one, so we wanted them to practice on the blue, and then once they have it perfect and they are good to go, move that information to the white form. That's the form that they will turn into their counselors at the junior high. And the academic course guide, this form kind of walks through exactly what they need and what's required from core classes all the way through electives. And I'm going to point out to you the required electives on the right side of that form. The required electives include 2 credits in languages other than English, 1 full PE credit, 1 full fine arts credit, and 1 technology credit, which is our BIM class. So, and of course it says this a little bit bigger here, required by the state of Texas, 2 credits in languages other than English, 1 physical education credit, and 1 fine arts. The academic guide here shows you what counts under that. So for PE, ROTC, it counts as the PE credit. Obviously athletics does. We have off-campus PE options, dance team, and you notice cheerleading and jazz choir is not on your form, but it's added on my slide. So that was my omission on accident. So I wanted to make sure you did know, and I have had a few questions about that. But jazz choir does count as a PE credit. And then of course you have a list of what counts as fine arts and so on. So this form becomes very helpful when you're trying to figure out that part of meeting those required electives to graduate. And Ms. LeBrier is going to take a few minutes to talk through the endorsement and opportunities that we have in our world of CTE.
All right, thank you. So we have, at the high school, we offer 5 different endorsement pathways. So when your students came over for the field trip right before Thanksgiving, they got to go and tour health sciences and all of the labs and projects that they do. They got to go visit the business world and see the students in action with different projects. They got to see ag, criminal justice, law enforcement, all of our different pathways. So it was very exciting for them, very hands-on. They got to rotate through, so I hope they came home excited and gave you good feedback. I think it helps them visualize those things so that they can understand what endorsement means and like which one they want to choose. So within business and industry, we have business and industry, we have multidisciplinary, public services, arts and humanities, and then of course our STEM with our project Lead the Way and engineering and all of those. So you're going to use this to help you decide what endorsement pathway you are, because this is going to build their electives that they're going to end up taking. This gives you a brief description about what TEA says is an endorsement. So when we are finished with this presentation, we will post it in 2 places. In the Counselor's Corners calendar page on the Montgomery High School website, and also I will post it on our college and career calendar. So we'll post it as a PDF so you can look at that as a reference. Within the endorsements, I've already listed all of them. So within business and industry, these are some different options for our students. And if you look at the business and industry, for example, the ag animal systems, you notice some of the courses are listed in bold and some of them aren't. If you want to see a more detailed description of each of those courses, like what does this mean? What does principles of ag, food, and natural resources mean? Like what exactly are they going to learn in that particular class? You can go to the Counselor's Corner website and look at this year's course selection guide. It gives you really good descriptions regarding each of the classes. It also walks you through any kind of certifications that these classes offer. We have a lot of certification options for our students. So within Ag Animal Systems, they would start off with a principles class. So that principles of ag, and then from there, you notice the grade level is off to the side. They can choose whether or not they want to do livestock production or possibly animal science. And then they can go into veterinary medical applications and vet field experience their senior year, where they actually go off-site and accumulate about 300 hours working in a vet clinic and earning, they can go towards the vet tech certification and then work full-time at a vet clinic, or part-time after they graduate. They want to work while they're going to school. A lot of our pathways offer different certifications. So for STEM, we have our project Lead the Way, so you guys were able to see aerospace and civil engineering and all of the different options with that. We also have computer science within that, and cybersecurity. Our science pathway, they would need to earn 5 credits, and the math pathway would be 5 credits as well. So, jumped. So here's Project Lead the Way for the engineering and that particular pathway. So they would stay within that block. Now, your kids are 8th graders. They're trying to make the best decision for themselves, but they're not locked into this. So let's say they start off thinking they want to do public services and they're going to do principles of education their freshman year. If they decide, not thinking I want to do that, I really think I might want to do law enforcement. They can meet with their counselor and change their endorsement pathway, and we can get them on track. So they have up until the end of their sophomore year to make any changes. Public services, we have education training. Our elementary schools are wonderful about welcoming our seniors to the campuses where they get hands-on working with our little ones, so that's very exciting. We also have interior and fashion design. Health science is one of our biggest ones. We actually took next year's course guide to school board last night, and we're waiting for approval. But we have CNA, the vet is within that. We have clinical rotations. Our students can take pharmacology and their senior year take the pharmacy tech certification so that they can work at a CVS or Walgreens. We also have our JROTC program and law enforcement, so lots of good options within there. Here's an example of the education training and the pathway and the sequence of courses that they might take. With arts and humanities, I know we had questions about choir and theater and all of those. So here are some options for arts and humanities, as well as 5 credits in social studies or 4 credits in language other than English. So when you look at the arts and humanities section, if a student is wanting to pursue art, those are some options that they could take for their elective. Multidisciplinary. There's 3 bullets that they only have to accomplish 1 if they choose the multidisciplinary endorsement pathway. Most of our students who go this route do the first bullet, where they earn the 4 credits in their 4 foundation subject areas, which include English 4 and chemistry. So the yellow is the yellow section for multidisciplinary. Your students, I believe, have already selected what endorsement pathway they wanted. They came over here for the field trip. They've been meeting with within their teen leadership health classes and have selected their pathway that they want. So they choose one, and then we want to know what the educational expectation is. So are they wanting to pursue a 4-year college, 2-year college, a technical school, military, workforce? So check that off, and then we need a student signature, a parent signature, and date, and then that gets turned in at the junior high. They will send those over to us once we finish with all the course selection. This also helps them with their personal graduation plan. This is something that's going to be completed with the counselors and within their teen leadership health classes. You'll notice whatever endorsement pathway they choose, it shows up on their graduation plan. So this particular student is doing the health science medical route, and then you'll notice it breaks down each year, 9th through 12th grade, and what typical courses they're going to be taking. This is a living document. This can be adjusted throughout their high school career. All right, so I'm going to turn it back over to Miss Ellis.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so that was kind of all the foundation understanding of what your students have already been learning about, because they've been learning about the endorsements and pathways and all of those things. So what do they need to graduate? We have 2 high school degree plans. One is foundation plan with endorsement, and the other one is distinguished achievement. So the big question is, what's the difference between those 2? And the answer is very simple. So if you look down here, they both require 26 credits to graduate. They both require you finish an endorsement or pathway. The biggest difference is under distinguished, it says 4 credits in math, including credit in algebra 2. So every student that graduates with or takes and completes Algebra 2 and meets all the other requirements that we, as counselors, work really hard to ensure they're going to graduate distinguished achievement. All right, so that's important, and we have a very high percentage, obviously, of students that meet that requirement and are able to do that successfully. So it says also 4 credits in science. We make sure that happens because you need that for the foundation with endorsement. And then it says completion of curriculum requirements for at least 1 endorsement. So that's all the same. The only difference becomes the Algebra 2. So let's talk the different levels of classes that we have here at the high school. So we have, obviously, level classes, we have advanced classes, and we have AP and dual credit classes. For the freshmen, they will be considering advanced classes for the most part. So our advanced classes, so our level classes are calculated on our 4.0 scale. Our advanced classes are calculated on the 4.5 scale. And AP and dual credit, which are college level courses, are calculated on a 5.0 scale. And we do have a chart that explains that, the grade point average system, in our course selection guide, so you can reference this year's. It's already posted, just like Ms. LeBrier said. And then once we get the approved one up, you'll see that it's the same. So that has not changed. So for your students, then the question becomes, should they take advanced, should they take level? And we always talk about, and you'll see it right down there, it depends on your talents and passion as to whether or not you sign up for an advanced course. Once you get to high school, it is more time, obviously, an advanced course. It's taught at a higher level, it's higher rigor, it expects more independent study at home, more independent reading. If it's an English class, more writing takes place. So the expectation obviously is higher in all of those things. So we always encourage students to focus on the areas that they are very strong in. They love to spend that extra time in studies of those subjects. So here's an example of the advanced offerings for entering freshmen. Advanced English 1, Advanced Algebra 1, Advanced Geometry, Advanced Biology, so it has all those cores there. Advanced World Geography, AP Human Geography, and Advanced Spanish 2. But take a second to talk about AP Human Geography. Notice it has a little red star there. AP means it's taught at a college level. This is the only class that's offered to our 9th grade students that's taught at that college level. And so it's important that our students know going in, they're making a commitment to be in this class. It is going to be rigorous. It's going to expect that independent study I was just referencing. And also, in order to get the college credit, at the end of the year, they take an AP exam. And if they score a 3, 4, or 5 on that AP exam, then they can send that off to the colleges that they want through College Board and receive college credit. That exam does cost $94. If you're in the class, you're expected to take the test. That's the whole premise behind being in the class. So just know that going in. The other big factor that you really have to think about, and this is important on this one, is we're talking about 9th grade students. And so if they get in the class and they get in and 3 weeks in, 6 weeks in, 9 weeks in, they come into the counseling office and they say, it's too much. I can't keep up, I'm not doing well. We can't take them out of that class because we have no level class to move them to. So it's not the same class as World Geography. It's a different class. That's different from if they're in Advanced World Geography and they're struggling, then based on our AP and advanced contract at the end of the first 6 weeks, if it's below a certain grade, then we can make that change and we can move them over to the level version of World Geography. AP Human has no level version to move to. So if they make that commitment to be in that AP class, it's important they know they're in it to win it and they're going to do real well. Okay, so that's kind of how that goes. It's just important that you know that. This is what that advanced AP contract looks like, and it does go through and explain that if a student is struggling, there's 2 different times that we can take them out and change their schedule. One's at the end of the first 6 weeks, okay? And so if they're not doing well, they have the lowest 75, we will take them out at the end of the first 6 weeks, or we can take them out at the end of the first semester. So the way high school works with earning credits and all of those things, those are our 2 windows of opportunity. So if a student says, I want to take Advanced English 1, they're making that commitment. And I'm building the schedule based on however many students say they want to take Advanced English 1. It tells me how many classes of Advanced English 1 I need to have and how many periods in my teacher's day that's going to take up. So we really want them to, when they make that decision, understand that we want them to be successful and to stay in there, obviously. But that's what that contract explains to you. Okay, so let's talk about picking some classes. That's the exciting time. We're going to start with that English. So my example was J.J. Watt. So J.J. Watt's going to be our example for today. And he put his name at the top, he put his grade, he filled in his information. He's saying, I'm going to take Algebra 2. So he circled the distinguished, that's the graduation plan he wants to be under. And he's ready to start picking his classes. He decided he's going to take Level English 1. Looking at that pink Common Core sheet, we encourage the students to learn how to read that. They were able to tell me that course number is 0511. We know that course is a full year, so they drew an arrow all the way across, and we have 1 down out of 8. We're doing well, right? So this should be an English 1 or Advanced English 1. That's what that first row should say. Second, JJ's taking Algebra 1. He's not currently in the 8th grade, so he needs to take Algebra 1 for his 9th grade year. If we have students that are currently in Algebra 1 right now as an 8th grader, obviously their choice becomes geometry or advanced geometry, because that's the order that we take our maths. So, but for JJ, he's an Algebra 1 guy, so he's 1011. It's a full year, so he drew the arrow all the way across. Biology's next. All 9th graders take biology. It's an EOC tested subject, so that's one of those must-haves and must-dos, and they do very well. So biology or advanced biology goes in that 3rd slot right there. 1521 is the level course, and it's a full year. World Geography is next, 2011, and again, this is where you can decide World Geography, Advanced World Geography, or AP Human, and think about that decision. It's a full year. Am I going too fast? We good? All right. BIM is next. Remember, BIM is required by the Montgomery School District to graduate. The great thing about BIM is it also counts in the CTE pathways, not fine arts and those things, but in the CTE pathways is one of the 4 that they have to get. And so that allows for a little bit more flexibility. So by us requiring that BIM class for all 9th graders to take, just like Ms. LeBrier said, they're 8th graders now, they're 9th graders next year. We don't expect them to know exactly what they want to do when they grow up, right? And so they're going to change their mind. Having BIM their 9th grade year gives us some flexibility. If they want to change their pathway and endorsement their 10th grade year, we can definitely do that. So that's one advantage of the many that BIM gives us. That course number is 5311, and it's a full year. All right, so we've got 5. That leaves 3 electives to choose from. JJ decided he wanted to start his 2 credits that he needs for his language other than English. So he picked Spanish 1. He could have also chosen French 1, but he chose Spanish 1. And that's 4011, and we drew an arrow all the way across. When you're considering starting the languages other than English, we do make the recommendation, and you'll see it on a slide later, but I'm going to talk about it now. We make the recommendation that if your student is struggling right now in 8th grade English, so an 80 or less or an 85 or less after the first semester of their 8th grade year, they may want to wait and start their languages other than English, their Spanish or French classes, their 10th grade year. Because we have seen a correlation in the fact that they may just need 1 more year in learning languages, including English, before they take on a different language. So if that is something that fits with your student, it's okay to wait and start the foreign language or the language other than English 10th grade year. But that's where they have to start it, because they have 2 full years and we don't want to leave any room for error, so we make sure they start 10th grade year, they take the second one 11th grade year, and then they're done. Okay, so that's definitely an okay decision to make. And we do encourage you to consider how they're doing in their 8th grade English class. Principles of health science. Ms. LeBrier's example was picking that medical pathway. That was JJ. And he knows that he's going to take Principles of Health Science. It's his first class for his endorsement. And that's a full year. It's 5510, so he put that arrow all the way across. And of course, last but not least, guys, y'all knew that was coming somewhere. Somebody in this crowd knew football was coming. So football's there. That completes his 8. 3011 is that course number. And he's feeling pretty good about this, right? Now, there is a possibility, however, that when the master schedule all comes together and all the magic in the world happens and we push a magic button, if only we could do that, that something just doesn't fit. So it could happen and we have some conflicts and something just doesn't fit together. And so we ask the students to consider some alternates. Give me some choices. If I can't get you in your top 8, let me know what else you want to take. What are your alternates? Give me some options. So for JJ, he decided he may consider doing his fine arts requirement, so Art 1. And so he put that course number and he drew the arrow all the way across. And he decided to give me a few more options in case I needed it. So he said, hey, I'm going to be 15 prior to the first day of instruction of the first semester so I can be in driver's education. And so he put that down as an alternate. Notice I said 15 prior to the first day of instruction, and that is per semester. So if your student turns 15 in October, they have to wait until second semester to take driver's ed. Okay? Makes sense? So for him, he's good to go. He turned 15 in August, so he's not worried about it. And then he's trying to figure out what he can match that to, and this has been a question I've gotten often recently. And so our recommendation is college readiness and study skills, which is a new course, hopefully recently approved or soon to be approved. That's a semester long, and we hope to match that with driver's education. So it gives them a state elective credit, and it also teaches them great study skills and helps prepare them so they can be successful both in high school and then in any of their endeavors outside of high school. So this would be the recommendation 0630. Another recommendation could be PE as well. So JJ's looking pretty good. He's got his 8. He gave me some options in those alternates. He's got some options there, but he's still meeting his needs and possibly even getting some driver's ed. So he's going to transfer all of that information to the white form. With the push of a button, he writes fast. And so he's good to go. We check everything and that looks great. Add that college readiness class. And these are the kind of the special requirement courses that we talk about. I've already mentioned the suggestion on the foreign language, right? 80, if it's below an 85, especially below an 80, you may want to wait. And then the other courses that have tryouts. So if your student is considering playing golf or tennis or swimming, being in Bonnie Bells or being a cheerleader, which they did a fabulous job out there earlier, any of our advanced choirs or athletic trainer, those are through tryout or application processes. And so this is what we ask you to do. We ask you to put that in the alternate slot. Put another class in the top 8. Star the one elective that you're willing to lose. So when you make the golf team, I now know I'm putting you in golf because I get a roster from the coach that tells me who made the golf team. I put you in golf and I know which elective to take you out of. Okay? So that's the process that we ask you to do. So when your child goes into the computer lab, they're actually going to put 8 classes that don't include jazz choir or don't include golf at this time, right? But as soon as they make that prior to next year, we get rosters and we make that change. Okay? But I'll refer back to this white form and I'll see that little star and I'll go, oh, okay, he was willing to drop Art 1 and save that for sophomore year if he made the golf team. We're good. Does that make sense to everybody? So indicate what's the one in that top 8 you're willing to drop if they make one of these tryout courses. So he's got that all taken care of. He signs it. His parent signs it. He turns it in on December 13th, which is tomorrow. to his health science or team leadership teacher. Taylor Swift is another quick example, just to kind of walk through. Taylor decided to take some English and Algebra 1. She decided to take advanced biology and advanced world geography, so those numbers changed a little bit. Taylor was a volleyball player, so she's got that in there. She has her art and her BIM. She has health in a lead worthy class, which is like the team leadership class that your students are currently in. Spanish 1 and principles of ag are her alternates. Okay, so just another example so you can see what something else kind of looks like. She signed it, parent signed it, we're good to go. These are the important dates that you're already experiencing because it's December 12th and you're here. Tomorrow is when all of these things are due. And I want to hit one more time. It says there at the bottom, we build our master schedule based on what these 8th graders tell us they want to take. So the number of students that turn in their form and say, I want to take Principles of Health Science, determines how many sections of Principles of Health Science we build. All right? And so it's very important that what they turn in is what they're willing to take. Now, obviously, if they make a tryout thing, we'll change it, right? But we do ask for that thought process to be in there, that when you fill out this white form and you turn it in and then your student actually goes to the computer lab soon to input it, that they've thought about it and they're willing to take what they write down, including those alternate classes. Okay, so don't just throw anything on there. Think about it. If you put Principles of Health Science as an alternate, or you put Art 1 as an alternate, and I have to go that route because I can't make it all work, then when you come in and say, I don't want Art 1, I'm going to pull your white form and go, but you told me you did. So I have you in there, and I built that class accordingly. So please just know that we build our master schedule based on these selections. All right, frequently asked questions. I really already covered them through the slideshow, but just a reminder, got to be 15 prior to the first day of instruction for driver's ed. It does cost money, so do you know $355 is the current price for driver's ed, so just know that going in, that is required. And our recommendations for if you're choosing driver's ed, again, I already mentioned college readiness, Prof-Com is an option, or 1 semester of that physical education requirement. If you want to take a PE, that's also an option. We don't have a lot of half semester or half year classes, 1 semester classes, and so that's why I'm making those suggestions, because they're really hard to find. We only have a few other ones in the world of business. Most of the classes are year long. And then off-campus PE forms, if that is something that you're interested in, they are on our website. It's under parents, it's under registration information, and then it's under off-campus PE. So that is already there. We will update our course selection guide for your convenience as soon as we get that rolling and approved. We'll get that up for you as well. Again, my name is Dana Ellis. I'm the lead counselor, and this is the rest of the counseling team with Ms. LeBrier, and we are here for you and your student. We are very excited about the upcoming year, and we want to welcome y'all to MHS family. So we are here for questions. If you have individual questions, please find us at the back of the room or at the front of the room, and thank you very much.